Everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Creative Katie, Karen Burchill. Today we have the second in the series, What's in the Bin, where I take what was going into the trash and turn it into treasure, something that I use in my studio or create art out of. So what's in the bin? First thing up, tags, clothing tags, merchandise tags. Take them off, put them in a container, save them up, and then when you have enough, you can use these in your art. So first up, we're going to actually just make tags with them, or different kind of small ephemera that you can add to a page. So here I'm just taking modeling paste, putting it through a stencil to add texture to it. I haven't gessoed them or anything. I am just putting on texture. Now I recommend doing that ahead of time, maybe when you have a little extra. Then when you have extra paint, you can colorize them one at a time or two at a time and have this kind of as a work in progress. So you're using up all those little bits. You can also cover it with little bits of scrap paper. So you see where I'm going with this. So just different color combinations. I'm colorizing it. So these can be used as gift tags. You can attach this to a gift bag. It's a little something something. It could become a bookmark. It can become ephemera that you add to a page if you're gluing it down. You don't need to do both sides. I'm doing both sides because, well, I'm turning these into tags. Edging them like you do a page. Use your corner clipper to round the edges if that's what you like. I'm just giving you ideas. Hopefully that inspires you, and then you can just go to town and make these your own. Bringing out the texture. Here I'm stenciling the same pattern that I have on the front, on the back, just so it kind of goes together. Now I think it would be really cool if you wrote affirmations on here or glued on words of wisdom. Here I'm just stamping to from, using a to from stamp because I am going to use this as a gift tag. Then I can just have them and attach them whenever I need them. You can also build up. You can use the crazy birds or dogs or cats or any other small stamped image, a butterfly, and glue that onto the tag or the ephemera. So build on it. So there's one use for those clothing tags. Here is another use. You can use them to add inexpensive, free texture to your page. You can use some or all of them. You can layer them up like you're seeing me doing here. Now this is an art journal page, and that video, I will link that video so you can see it in its entirety. But here's thumbnail sketch. You glue them down, you gesso it, you can stamp and stencil them, then you're going to colorize them. And you can see how that texture from the tags is adding an element to the background. You don't need modeling paste. You can just use those tags. They're free and easy. Ask your friends to collect them for you, and then you have lots to add to page. I love that rectangular shape. Here's a close-up of the page once it was almost done, and this is the video that you're going to be looking for. You've been tagged. What's in the bin now? Gift or key cards. You know these. There are multiple of uses. So use number one, you can make a template to cut the corners of tags so that you don't have to guess. You're making your own tags. So you simply, here I'm using an actual shipping tag and getting the exact corner. So you only need to cut one. Then I have a smaller tag here. It's a different angle. So I want to make a template for that. And I'm just using my regular scissors. I'm sorry about the blurriness here to get that one. And I'll show you how these are used in a minute. Now you can use a tag as a guide, or you can, as you're going to see me doing here, just cut your own angle. Now the hard part is getting both sides to be identical. So here's how you do it. You use the template, cut one, flip the card over, line it up, and cut it. Now you have both sides perfectly matched. That's how easy it is to make your own corner tags. The other thing you can use a key card is to scrape paint on a background. The advantage of this is it's a great way of using up leftover paint. It's super quick and it dries almost instantaneously. You get a very organic feel with it, so you can play with it. As you do more and more with it, you might be able to manipulate the card to get certain kind of marks, but it's a very, very quick way to break a page and put down color and minimize that dry time. See here, I'm just kind of going from the top and kind of getting a different effect. So play with it and see. What you can do with it. I'm going to speed up the video here, just adding more color, and I am putting this on the raw page. The page has not been gessoed and it doesn't need to be. So great way again of using up that leftover paint. Grab your key card, open up your accidental art journal book. Here's another way of using it. Use the edge, dip it in paint to make lines and marks. Now I'm going really quickly here, not being too careful, and I'm getting a bit of a mess, but I love the organic feel of it. FYI, this was bright purple, alizarin crimson, and this is Prussian blue. I love that color combo, and I think I'm going to take this and turn this into a page. Look at it, my background is almost done. Here's another way of using the key card. You can cut different shapes out of it and turn it into something that you can use on your gel plate. So here I'm just cutting it. I'm not thinking too complicated. Putting the paint on my 5x7 gel plate and putting some marks on it. You can make whatever kind of marks you like with it. And you're going to see a couple examples. So here's the one I just did. And we'll pull that just to see. I'm not taking much time here, just giving you ideas. But it is so completely simple. And you get some wonderful mark making that will, that you can add to your gel printing repertoire. Look at those. So here I'm taking it, moving it a little bit differently. And I absolutely love that, the mark making. It's 100% your own. Great idea. Now another way, and you've probably seen me doing that, is using it to put modeling paste through a stencil. It's how I have the most success. Next up, what's in the bin? Spice containers. The tops or the bottoms. Now this one, I love the rounded rectangular shape, and the top is a little bit different than the bottom. So you have two different kind of mark making tools. Now you can use this as a stamp or you can use it on the gel plate. Both work wonderfully well, and I'm going to show you both of them. So I'm just using the gel plate and stamping off on a page. Nothing's wasted here again. That can be on a start of a page to break the page, or you're going to see me in a little bit put it on as a third layer on a page. Look at that. Oh, love that rectangular shape. With those rounded edges. I don't know, something about that just always makes me happy. So here I'm just stamping off again. And pulling the print. Combine this with other mark makers, you're really going to bump up your gel prints. Now here I like adding white to my art journal pages, so I'm just using the gel plate as a stamp pad, and the goal here is to stamp with white on that gel print or on a page. Loving that layer. We have the gel print before with that, and then another layer with the same shape. Here's a page in my accidental art journal, and I'm just going to stamp with this spice container on top. So before you throw out any containers, look, is it an interesting shape? A lot of them are circles, but look for those odd shapes. Those are the keepers. And I'm just pulling the print here. Wasn't expecting too much, but you know what? Kind of like it too. Next up, what's in the bin? Plastic yogurt containers. Now, I'm so thrilled with this because I have tons of these. I go through one of these probably in a week, and I know I've covered containers before, but if you were wondering, can you cover plastic? Well, the answer is yes. Now, you can store things in your studio in here. Wooden cutouts, embellishments, scrap papers, focal images, what have you. You can store paintbrushes. These things, here's what I do. Here's one that I've had for over 2 years in my studio. I put water in it and then put a finish dishwashing tab in there, and then my makeup sponges and blending foams. Once I have paint in them, I throw them in there, and it makes sure that the paint doesn't dry in and I get to clean them. I wanted to see if these containers worked with other containers that I have in my studio. These are some bins I got from the Dollar Tree that fits for them. These also fit really well in those IKEA carts. So if you've got those, you might want to add them. But you know what? I don't like the outside of this. So I want to cover that up. I want to make it beautiful. So here I'm adding a coat of gesso. Now, the gesso does it here quite well. I want to knock back that print. You cannot dry it with the heat tool because, well, it's plastic. So I gave it 2 coats to knock back the print. Then all you have to do is pick whatever kind of napkin that you want. If you want a match set, you can get a whole pack of napkins and cover multiple containers, or you can do for different seasons. Now, these can be used in the studio, they can be used in the pantry, anywhere that you want some storage containers. And it's great if you can use something that you use a lot of that's going to show up in your recycle bin weekly, because you're repurposing it, using it, and making it beautiful. Now, you could end it here. I'm just gluing it down with my fluid matte medium. Now, I am overpainting this because I figure it's going to be in my studio and I want it to look nice. So I am using gesso and acrylic paint and overpainting it. This is a great time to practice your overpainting if it's a skill you're learning and you're not sure, because, well, if it goes wrong, who cares? It's a container, throw it out, do another one, and away you go. I'm just showing you options. Now, if you want to use it with the lids, I suggest not painting the lid because you manipulate it and the paint, I find, tends to crack off. Instead, I am gluing down a coffee filter that has been colored that matches. I'm edging the can, the papers, and then I'm stamping, well, the word joy, which is my 2024 word of the year. I want to surround myself with joy, with that word, to bring me back to my word of the year. So that's what I'm doing. Here I'm adding 2 coats of Minwax polyacrylic varnish, and that's just going to protect it. This is going to make a nice addition to my studio. So what's in your bin? What can you use in your studio to create art or to make art out of? Let me know which idea here you would use, and if you've got an idea to share, add it in the comment section too. Now go get creative.